Hey everyone, so in the last video where I talked about this wireless system, I said that I would talk about the follow focus. So this is the video for the follow focus system. Again, this is the CUT6, CUT6, whatever. And all you really need is a battery that has a USB out, and you need to plug it in. Sometimes the wireless receiver can get power from the item it's plugged into, like maybe a laptop. Sometimes not, in this case not. So just plug it in, and then first you power it, and then you give it a source. And you have to do the receiver side first, then the transmitter side. So let's power this up. Just hold it for a few seconds. Okay. And then on this side, this is my GH6 rig. I'm going to power it up. And now that the transmitter has power, I'm going to give it source. So I'm going to turn that on. And then again, just hold this for a few seconds. And just like magic, bam, it's connected. So one thing you'll notice is the screens aren't matching, and that's because I was messing with it and I accidentally reset it to factory. So this looks a lot different than that one. What I did find, though, I have to say, this monitor, which is the LUT6, LUT6, is pretty much spot on to what the camera sees on the back monitor. This one, I cannot get it to 100% match with the rest of the system. So I'm going to keep messing with it, and I'll update you guys, but that's just one thing I noticed, is if this is your main monitor, you might have an issue because it's not going to be exactly what the camera sees. The LUT6, on the other hand, is pretty much spot on. I mean, what you see on that screen is what the back of the camera sees, as far as contrast and the colors and all that. So I'd say the LUT6, if I had to choose one, LUT6 definitely is going to be the better main monitor. Also, the LUT6 is a couple thousand nits. This one is, I think, like 450. So if you're outside in somewhere really sunny, this may not cut it. This is more than enough. This one is bright enough for even the Texas summer. So that's a couple reasons why I think this should be your first monitor, and then that should be a secondary monitor. But if you can only afford one, you know, and you're not shooting outside in the hot sun, and you aren't as concerned about this looking exactly like what you see on the back of the camera, you know, it'll work. I just think this is a better secondary monitor, and that's why I have it on this follow focus system. So I got this idea from Caleb. You guys know him from DSLR Shooter. That's his channel. And he did something similar. I just took that and shrunk it even more. So this is actually kind of a condensed version of what he had. And I mean, look at that, super self-contained, super small. So the main trick of this monitor is that it can record. So right now I have a normal USB stick in there. You can get the ones that just barely come out of the USB port. I just don't have any right now, but I would suggest those just to keep things more compact. And then all you do is you double tap, and you have a little record button there. You push that, it starts recording. So not only is this your wireless follow focus, this can be your BTS. So here's what I mean by that. If you have your camera set up, and let's say you have an interview. So you have it set up for the interviewee, but you're not recording yet, but you want behind the scenes. So instead of recording everything to the memory card, which is going to take a huge amount of space for just BTS, you leave the camera on but not recording. Then you record on here. And you can even focus here. So if you got other people helping to set up, and you want to kind of jump between maybe somebody who's talking in the background, focus on them, and then come back. You can do all your follow focusing, and it's also recording what the camera sees on here to this memory card in 1080, which is BTS, right? If you don't need super high quality, you know, ProRes, RAW, whatever, BTS, then 1080 is going to be just fine. So it has two purposes. One is your follow focus. So if you have the camera set up, but you're not right next to the camera, it's a lot easier to just have this on your lap, or just kind of, you know, you can have it set up next to you, kind of on a chair next to you or something, and you can just kind of tweak it. I don't have the motor turned on right now, but you can just tweak it as you're doing the interview. You can just, if you have maybe two people in frame, you can go between people, whatever. I don't know what you're doing with your camera, but you know what a follow focus is for. So you can hand it off to somebody, do it yourself, whatever, what have you. But the point is, this also does your BTS. So the only thing is, it's still depend on what the camera sees. So if your camera's pointed in the wrong direction, you're not going to get anything. But the main highlight to me is getting additional footage, B-roll, BTS, without having to use up my memory card, because this J6, as much as I love it, man, those higher resolution settings eat a lot of memory card. I honestly keep it on like 4K, maybe all intra, so maybe like the 400 range, and then step down to maybe 150 if I don't need if you know, long GOP or long JOP is okay for the situation. But I do not want to use my memory card for behind the scenes stuff. So this is great. I can just point the camera where I want, and this will record it. You don't even have to have it. You can just put it off to the side and just walk around with your camera pointing it, and I have another follow focus here. So I can just walk around with it, not recording on here, do my follow focus on the camera itself, and this thing is off to the side. I think a 164 foot range for the wireless HDMI system. And I can just have it, you know, sitting off to the side, and it's recording. But it's not recording to my memory card, so I'm not using up memory card space. So that's about it. It's a quick video. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. It's a follow focus. Most likely you know what it is. But I wanted to show you my version of a follow focus, and how I double this also as my kind of behind the scenes or B-roll system, because I do most of my stuff by myself. So anything that has double function is going to help me out. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm by no means an expert on this monitor yet, but I do mess with it to try to learn a little bit more about it. One thing I'm going to say is the instructions it came with could be improved. That's one thing I would like to see. Another thing is I would like FEELWORLD to make a version that's brighter, that can match this. I think that because if you're outside and you hand this to somebody, you know, you can put a hood on it, but they're going to struggle if you're out in the bright sun. So that's one recommendation that I would have for FEELWORLD, is to upgrade the instructions and to make a version for people who need a very bright version similar to the LUT6. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to help however I can. FEELWORLD is pretty good about answering my questions, so if I can't figure it out, I'll ask them, and then I'll get back to you guys with a video in the future.